Hey guys, this is CurlysAirsoft, and today's video is going to be pretty much different from every other video I've ever done, and I don't know if I'll do more. I might not, depends on how this one goes, but it's really just going to be a critique of Airsoft in general, so let's get into the video. So first I want to say this video isn't about calling out this one guy in particular, so I'm going to be blurring out his name and blurring out his picture and his channel, so I'm really just going to kind of hide that from you so you really don't know what video this is or whose channel it is or anything like that. So instead, I'm just going to kind of review the gameplay found in the video and the gameplay I've seen at this field and really just talk about that. The field is Cool Combat in Lexington, North Carolina. That is the field that this video takes place in, and I have also done a video at that field, so the link to my video will be in the description, and it'll also be right here, so you can click that and watch that after this video or before this video to give you some context. So frequently in this video, you see him use full auto at distances that would never ever warrant full auto. And it reminds me of an incident that pretty much every airsofter should know of.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What the heck?
Granted, that was not in the game, but I feel like the two cases have similarities that you can kind of connect between the two. Now, personally, I feel like full auto is a needless thing in Airsoft, except for a few exceptions, and none of those exceptions are included in this video. Like, he literally never ever runs into any of those situations where I'd say full auto is warranted. A couple of these exceptions are really great distances when semi-auto just doesn't have the accuracy that you need, so it's easier just to put it on full auto and shoot a burst of BBs at them, and hopefully one will land and you'll get the kill. Another exception is if you have a lot of targets to shoot in a really short amount of time, and when I say a lot, I mean like seven plus, not like 3 or 4 guys, you just got to hose them down real quick as you're running. I mean like 7+ guys at distance, and they're all running, and you have to kind of get them all before they can make it to cover. At my home field, Extreme Combat, there's a no full auto and CQB rule, and I really like this rule, but I also understand that a lot of fields across the country allow full auto CQB, and I never really understand why they had to allow full auto and CQB, but what are you going to do? It's what they allow, so when you go to a field that does allow full auto and CQB, you just kind of deal with it and hope people will be respectful of that. This kind of works with full auto, and that full auto can cause this issue, but it is its own separate issue, so I'm going to talk about it as its own separate thing. So Cool Combat used to allow full auto at all times, but the last time I went to go play there, that rule had been changed, and the new rule is that before each round or each individual game that you go to play on a pickup day, the players get to vote on whether or not they want to allow full auto for that game mode. So like, let's say it's like a capture the flag and you're using the entire play area, it seemed to be the consensus of most players that they would allow full auto that game. But if they were only using one room and it was just a team deathmatch, it seems like they would vote for only semi-only because they knew they would be in close quarters. I should say that I like their new rule. I like that players get to vote individually before, like they get to vote before the game starts on whether or not they want to allow full auto. It seems, not only does it kind of create a variety of gameplay, but it also seems to make sure that everyone is happy with each game and kind of everyone gets to tailor each game mode to their specific play style. Overshooting itself is something that you find at pretty much every airsoft field ever. I've personally only had experience in the East Coast and really North Carolina because that's my home state. But everywhere I've played, I've always found overshooting, at least at some part during the day playing there. So I don't think that it's a rare issue. I would say that there are different types of overshooting, but the one in this video and the one that makes me the most mad and the one I'm going to talk about is blatant overshooting. And I would say that there's a difference between that and kind of accidental overshooting. Accidental overshooting would be if you're trying to, like, you were locked in a firefight or a gunfight with someone, and a dead player walked through your gunfight and got hit a couple extra times, and they may get pissed at you for that, but it's really on that player because they walked through someone else's gunfight. Like they weren't paying attention, if that makes sense. But blatant overshooting is where you shoot someone and you continue to shoot them after their hands up. For any number of reasons. It could be, even then it could be accidental, but I would still call it blatant overshooting, just because it's someone you're attacking. It's not someone accidentally walking through your line of fire. Now, like 20 seconds into the video, I realized what was happening and did comment, "Whoa, what is this overshooting cancer? I thought my field was bad. I guess that's why Cool Combat is known around state and out of the state as Cancer Combat." And the person who made the video responded, Thanks for being civil about this, and I see where you're coming from, but this style of play is the only way you can get people to call hits at this field. His excuse and his answer really kind of irked me, and the reason it irks me is it seems like just such a dumb thing to say. Like, I hate the excuse of, oh, well, it's how you get people to call their hits. Or at my own field, I've heard people say, shoot until you see a hand. Shoot until you see their hand go up saying their hit. And I really hate this. And it seems so obviously dumb to me and such a stupid thing to say. And I'll explain why. The game of Airsoft is an honor sport. And it really shouldn't be about wrecking the enemy team or getting as many kills as you can, even though that can be part of the fun, and it is fun to go like, whoa, I killed like 5 or 6 people that game in the first 5 seconds. It's pretty impressive feat, and it can make you feel really great on the inside, and it can be really cool to brag to your friends about, and it's fun to talk with them after the game. Like, I get that. But it should also be about enjoying the game, like that enjoyment that you're getting from that. You should also share with the other team. And if you, especially with new players, because new players coming out, they really don't know what to do. You know, if they have had no experience playing like paintball or anything else, really, they really don't know what they're doing, or even like military training as well. So for them to go out and get shot 6 or 7 times, call hit, and then continue to get shot, they're gonna go, you know, why would I want to do this again? Like, why am I spending money to come do this?
Right now, take a respawn. Really? You serious right now? Fucking blind firing, you dumbass. I'm looking. I saw you coming at.
And it's not going to make the sport grow. And it should be the goal of every airsofter to help other people enjoy the sport while also enjoying it by yourself, and to help grow the sport so it becomes a bigger community. Now, that said, yes, people are going to not call hits. I get that. That's understandable. It's at a certain point, it's part of the game of Airsoft. I wish it really wasn't, but it's kind of part of the sport. I'm not advocating for not calling hits. You shouldn't do it, and it ruins the game for other people, and it can even kind of ruin the game for yourself. I've had it ruin, a round of Airsoft. I've had it ruin a day of Airsoft, and I know people, it's ruined the entire sport where they just quit outright and sell their gear and all their stuff because they're like, why do I want to play when people aren't going to call their hits? There's no point. The thing to remember, though, is not everyone is like that. So don't treat everyone like they're like that. Don't treat everyone like they're not going to call hits, because when you do, that's when you get the new players that come out that may not know what they're doing, but they get shot a ton and then they quit and the sport doesn't grow. Don't treat everyone like shoot them until you see a hand, or, well, that's how I get people to call hits because, blah, 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 X reason, Y reason, Z reason. It really doesn't help. It doesn't help at all. If anything, you're just making the problem worse. Now, all this seems like pretty basic shit to me, and it seems like just common sense, like just being rational. You should be able to put this together. So as not just to complain, I'm going to offer a solution. So let's say you're shooting at someone, pew, 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 and they don't call their hit, and you go, shit, that sucks, and you get mad. Tell them. I don't mean like go, oh, hey, call your hits. And
I just hit you. Are you gonna call that? Dude, rep, go watch that guy. Dude, are you serious? Come on. I'm fucking hitting you in the shoulder.
And I don't mean go up to them after the game and be like, what the fuck, dude? We're gonna fight, dude. Put your hands up kind of thing. Don't do that. But after the game, go respectfully confront the person and be like, hey, you weren't calling your hits. And, I don't want to be a dick, but I notice, and I would appreciate you try to feel it better next time. We're like, try to recognize that better. And you may find out the person is like, oh no, your BBs were dropping right in front of me, because that happens a lot. I've had a lot of people shoot at me and their BBs are hitting, going past me, or, landing on and like dropping right in front of me, and they're yelling at me, call your hits, dude. And I'm like, you don't realize, the range of an airsoft gun. It really isn't as good as you think it is. Or maybe, your BBs are slowed down so much at a certain distance that they're just peppering off their back. But in this video, he's well within 5 feet to even 10 feet and a little bit above that for all of these kills, or most of them. At that distance, it's not like they're not going to feel it. So the whole thing for like overshooting, just it seems pointless. It seems pointless. So the excuse of, oh, that's how I get people to call their hits, to me it just seems like a really dumb excuse, especially in this situation. So everyone is probably already thinking, oh, well, this is an easy fix. Just have a safety kill rule. And you're right. It does fix people shooting too close for the most part. I mean, there's always going to be certain situations where you panic and you pull the trigger and you shoot someone too close. And that sucks, but it happens. And I've been on both ends of that situation. But safety kills may fix that, but it also creates a whole new set of problems that then the refs have to deal with, along with the players that can just make the gameplay less fun. Cool Combat used to have a safety kill rule. I think it was 10 feet. It was 10 feet or 5 feet. I don't really remember, but it used to be within one of those distances, you had to yell safety kill. I'll throw up some examples of that right now. This is another one of the rules that the field changed. All I really know is I went to play, there was a safety kill rule. Fast forward a couple months, I went to play again, and the safety kill rule wasn't there. I don't know when that, or I don't know when it got taken away. I don't know when they removed that rule. I just know that it wasn't there the next time I went. And personally, I was happy that it was gone, and even kind of went, oh, maybe I'll start coming here more now that this rule is out of the way. This video was posted on June 19th, 2016, and I don't really know when the rule was taken away again, like I said, so I don't know if the rule was still in place at this time, but regardless, it shouldn't really matter. Again, this is just about shooting people too close, and really, again, just kind of overshooting, but this time overshooting at a certain range. Like I said in the last bit, this guy shoots people within 5 to 10 feet, and, regardless of safety kills, it seems like he's shooting them too much within this distance, and that's something I have seen at this field, and something I hear from a lot of people that aren't really like regulars at Cool Combat, that I talk to after the fact, like after going like, oh, you went to, how was your experience? They always say, I'm getting overshot too close, or people are shooting too hot too close. And I don't believe in I don't believe in a safety kill. I think, in airsoft you should expect to get shot. But my solution to this is an MED rule, which is something I do believe in. So I think my KWA SR10 is shooting 411 with 2s, so that right there is not a CQB legal gun, which is why I carry a sidearm, so that way when I get too close, I transition to the sidearm, and then I basically have no MED because it's only shooting 280 with the 2.5. So I'm able to pretty much engage from any distance, and even then I try to, respectively shoot people only at a maximum of 3 times, and I try to shoot them somewhere in the chest or vest. Now this is a huge problem in airsoft, and it's a problem so much so it's even mentioned in the comments of his video, and certain fields around the country have banned HPA guns from their fields because of this issue, and because of this topic or this question. And that question is, does having an HPA gun make you an asshole? And the simple and easy and quick and true answer to that is no, it does not make you an asshole. I do, however, think it makes you easier to be one. Just because you have an HPA gun doesn't make you an asshole, but I would say there is a correlation I've found between airsoft assholes and them owning HPA guns. It's like guys who own lifted trucks. It doesn't mean you vape, but there's a correlation. First, I want to define what I think an airsoft asshole is, and I think it's going to be pretty easy for a rational person to get behind this definition. If you, 1, don't call hits, and 2, overshoot people, you might be an airsoft asshole. That seems like a pretty easy way to define what that is. Again, just because someone owns an HPA gun doesn't mean they do this, and I should clarify, I don't really see a correlation between HPA guns and not calling hits, but I do see a correlation between HPA guns and overshooting or a high ROF. And I think that it's because with a turn of an Allen key or a press of a button, you can turn your ROF up significantly. Unlike an AEG, where to turn your rate of fire up, you would have to, upgrade your battery, upgrade your motor, and at a certain point, you'd even have to upgrade the gears in the gearbox if you want to use the gun for more than a weekend without, everything inside the gearbox shattering. What I see is people turning up their ROF with an HPA gun to ridiculously fast speeds. Like speeds that you would never need this. I mean, it becomes a fire hose of BBs, and if you need a fire hose of BBs to hit people at 10 feet, you should probably go practice shooting before you play your next airsoft game. Also, HPA guns have an improved trigger response, so people can be like, "Look, Ma, it's full auto," but it's not. Whoa, isn't that funny?
Dude, it's not. It's semi.
And again, I should say that you can get there with an AEG, but it requires much more upgrades. So I mean, it means you have to invest money. And HPA guns aren't cheap, but it's like a one-stop shop, which is a good thing I see as being a reliability issue, or, you know, or a reliability thing. You know, you get, that was kind of how the whole Polar Star thing was sold when it first came out. Now there's a variety of HPA guns, but it was, you know, you get this one end, this Polar Star engine, and, you know, you're never going to have to tech your gearbox again, right? Everything you need to do, you can do with an Allen key on the, you know, relatively within 5 minutes. And again, you can get to that same trigger response with an AEG, but it requires upgrading your motor, a battery, and normally putting a MOSFET in the gun, which, these are things you have to be able to take apart the gun to change. You can't just be like, oh, you know, I feel like, you know, shooting 40 BBs a second today. Let me just crank this little knob to a certain point, and now I can do that. Anyway, these are just a few of the critiques I have about the field and about the style of gameplay and really just about Airsoft in general. I don't necessarily expect for you to care about my opinion, but if you agree, maybe you do care. If you do care, you should leave a like and a sub, and I'll see you in the next video.